So I'm pitching a script on Atlas Cries. My name is Tola. So let's get moving on. So the introduction to this is essentially, in a not too distant future, there is a government which is tyrannical. They are essentially a dictatorship which controls the population. And in this we've got a main protagonist called Grayson Marks, who is conflicted by this world. He doesn't know where he fits in. You know, he works for the government, but in this it's a future where things are not planned or certain. Things are just told what they're doing. This isn't our future; it's an alternate future. The theme of the genre is. I've tried to balance this one out because when I was writing it and thinking about it in the process, I wanted to kind of level it out because this one is very heavily political on top of it. It's very dark and somber. So to counterbalance that, I wanted something to open up quite, suddenly to kind of, balance it out, make it feel like it's kind of different. So I thought, why not make it a bit violent, make it so this world looks merciless as well as appears merciless. Also, this film is meant to overshadow a reflection on this world and how this world's politics are not working and working, but using an alternate history where the Second World War has been lost by the Allies. Instead, we have an even worse version, and the political idealisms of Hitler are still in control, and it's what's developed over the past, say, 80 to 100 years. And this is meant to be like an imagining of a bleak future. It's a dystopian world where everything has just been planned and set out ever since the Allies lost. So everything that's happened, everything what you think has happened has not happened at all. So in this you kind of have to, as well as see what's happening visually, you have to kind of think, well, maybe with this I've got to think of what has actually happened, and it kind of inspires curiosity for the viewer. So when I considered the theme, it was difficult because I wouldn't really put it in a. It's hard to say because when I was doing this, I thought, well, why not put it in like a thriller drama? Because you obviously can't do much with anything else, and you can't make it that sci-fi. I mean, I guess this is considered elements of sci-fi, but I don't think it looks sci-fi enough to be. I guess. I mean, if you can count dystopian as sci-fi, I guess so, but I mainly stuck to it as thriller genre because that's mostly what the film is into. Although I mean, a lot of the stuff I hope to see, or I've written in, a lot of it's very close up and very cramped, and there's a reason for that. It's also meant to be like a parallel to how in the 40s and 50s they envisioned this world of tomorrow with technology being 10 times bigger than it was meant to be, so you get this world of tomorrow morphed and distorted, so it's kind of like it's a distortion of that image and that power at the time, so you get Walt Disney's Epcot is now gone, and that's just a mashed up subversion of whatever was meant to be, almost like a nightmare, a living nightmare. Setting is set at roughly 2026, 2025. I tried to get some sort of realism in it, so there's enough time span between across, so there's not for example, what if these people who have lived through the war are still alive then? I thought, well, you might as well put it set in the future so people can't say that wouldn't happen, or so setting was also somber and dark, very unforgiving. I mean, to match that level of dystopia, you have to match the level visually, and dialogue-wise, things have changed, so people are not very happy, they're not very fulfilling, but they just get on with it. That's kind of how it works in this world. So, plot, essentially give the plot, but basically, on the long term, it's set in a dark world of tomorrow. Single government controls everything, say 90% of the world. Former United States is still trying to grasp on what's left of their world, what's left of the old world, should I say, and essentially there's a war going on, but in between this, international, because it's set in the UK, which is now called New Himmel, which means New Haven. So in this, there's a world surrounding it, and then there's another circle, and then there's a character who's called Grayson Marks, who is a security technician for Atlas Corp, and essentially is creating an encryption device, which is hopefully going to be used for the government issues, so they can, I don't know, hack anything they like, or decrypt any codes. It's kind of like a reflection of when the Allies were like trying to decode the messages the Germans were sending over seas and whatever. This also I also tried to demonstrate, like, with Grayson's character, you know, how his life reflects among others. So he's this person who is essentially just one guy, and he's been given this big role, but he lives like everyone else. He's just like everyone else. There's no hierarchy. The only hierarchy in this is the government, and you don't see them. So we're introduced to Grayson. He's got this tech company. He's got a girlfriend. She's more for the government because she doesn't know anything else. Because in this, again, crossing elements of sci-fi, this is a world where people are given roles, and I'll explain where stuff like that's come from, where the ideas have come from. But people are given roles, and they stick by those roles, and she doesn't really know much different because that's what she's been brought up with. Grayson, he's kind of been a little different. He's been given something extra, should I say. So, anyway, so within this, you get the main character and three others. The other one being Kent, which is Grayson's best friend, who is living on nothing. He has nothing to his name. He's in the poor majority of that world, which in this world there's two and there's one. One being the best, two being the bottom. He's on the bottom, kind of like Grayson. So in this, his friend one day admits to him he's part of a resistance called Nightflower, which is a resistance/rebellion which is trying to find the truth, trying to sabotage these plans to take over the US, because at the moment the United States, or former United States, is in war and has been blown to bits, sunk underwater. There's nothing much left, and these people are trying to fight for that because they've realised, they've snapped out of it when this isn't right, this is wrong, we should be doing something about this. So after that, after Grayson has been being told this, he's been put on a wild goose chase, should we say, on what he's trying to find out the truth, because Kent has told him he is the key to everything. He has the one element what could uncover the truth. They just need to find out how and why and what's happened, because all the truth has been erased and distorted over time. Explain that. Right, the idea itself, when I looked at this idea, I kind of thought at first maybe just set it now and tone it down, but I wanted to write big and expansive and have a world to live in. So when you look at this, I tried to have a look at the way other directors and writers and films have done this. So I had a look at Inglourious Bastards, Watchmen. The film, like I want to do, is surrounded by this world, and you have to kind of guess the alternation between it. Watchmen more so Inglourious Basterds, not so much. It kind of it splits off the timeline. So instead of Hitler killing himself or whatever, instead he is assassinated in a cinema room. Watchmen, it's very different. In this world there are superheroes or whatever, and it all spans off and kind of goes in a circle around these characters. I've tried to kind of interpret that into this. But the original idea, it just came to me when I just thought of a scene where it's all in black and white, and like the main character didn't have a name obviously at the time, just heavily breathing, he's holding a gun, the camera zooms out and there's banging on the door and these people rush in and try to attack him. That's kind of just happened, and then the story just surrounded them there. That's like building the story, and as I keep referencing a circle, because that's how I view the character. He's in the middle of all this, and there's two circles. So, the filming locations, that, with it being a dystopian world, I kind of had a look at research, and I looked around, and I thought, I need to have a look at places which are kind of run down, but I wanted it to be this city-like environment. I don't want it to be out in the open, or I just wanted it to be as dystopian as it could be. And a lot of films seem to choose a city area because it's bigger and it's more expansive. So I had to look at architecture as well and stuff like that to like inspire the story more. And you know, when you have a look at filming locations, you have a look at there's parts in Manchester where they've got the new buildings they're still building. They all look kind of new age and sci-fi. Then you've got the mixture of like older 1800s buildings, and they're all older, mixing with together, and they look out of place. Kind of a world was still developing in that sense. So a lot of Manchester would be good. So you get alleyways, churches, apartment complexes, and then you've got Media City where you've got the water bridge, and you've got the skyscrapers in the background and stuff like that. You've got a weird, kind of sleek, bizarre architecture there. Because a lot of this I wanted to be surrounded, it looks different, because certain parts of a city you wouldn't really recognise because not everybody knows the city backwards. So if you used and positioned a camera or positioned a shot in the right way, it would look completely different. You know, you can film in a completely different country what it's set in, but because the way it's been shot, it looks like it's a different world. So essentially, filming in Manchester all over, getting the right representation of look, you could essentially find that element. So here's some pictures. This sort of environment you'd have a look at. So you've got the apartments, you've got the part here. So this is the other side of the Media City. So you've got the bridge here, and you've got the same buildings there actually, and the waterfront here. And here you've got like a skyline. So here, if you gave it that look, this look here, it looks very dystopian. You don't really recognise it as Manchester with all the buildings all messed up and all the smoke and whatever. And here is the sort of alleyways you'd have a look at. So it's very grueling and gritty and all run down. And you've got you've got buildings covering this way. So you kind of have a feel for this world and sort of locations. If it was developed, this is what you sort of have a look at. Because you can get some really, really nice elements of the story just told through this, because a lot of it would, on top of it being story driven, you'd have a lot of visuals, and you'd like, this world looks, you know, it suits the story. The appearance of the film, cinematography wise and stuff like that, it needs an element of, it needs to look dark and grim, but what I try to visualize in my head when I was writing it is, you can't have it look bright and happy, obviously, because it's not gonna suit the story. So, I mean, having it like this, where it's very shady, it's very dark, it's very noir. I wanted to have it as a neo-noir element. I mean, that's what I thought in my head anyway for it to be. So it's very grueling, it's very dark, there's very greys and browns and blues, heavy stuff like that. You know, you've got, again, as I said, it's mainly inspired by that neo-noir element to it. So, and also you want it to look. I mean, the idea I had is that you don't want it to look too stylized, I'd say, because it kind of will defeat the purpose of the story if it's all style and no substance. So, as I said, I mean, you're looking at. I mean, I had an idea for this, how as the story develops, the camera gets further away, and that's how I kind of thought in my head. So it starts off in a small, cramped apartment, then it gets bigger, so he's in a building, then it gets even bigger, so he's in a city, and then it gets even bigger, and then it closes up again. So visually, if I was directing it anyway, I would have it so it's tighter, so it's the eyes. As I remember the scene, how I started it, it's tight in the eyes, it pulls out, it's fighting, pulls out again, and it keeps pulling out until you've got a massive open frame all the time. Obviously you'd have close-ups and stuff, but you'd see it develop more through the stage of the film. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of felt like visually like it makes sense, because you're seeing the story literally progress right in front of you, stage by stage by stage, scene by scene. Camera techniques, but they've been very heavy and the story being very impactful. I thought, well, have a lot of, as well as having a lot of close-ups from the character, have a lot of tracking. I think if they were because this is sort of story where you're following someone, you're following their journey, you're following their path. Let the camera literally follow them, let the viewer follow them as well. And also, if you want to make it look expansive, big, and large, and this will look realistic enough, with a lot of low angles, and you have a lot of high angles, you know, make the viewer feel like they are literally there. So I have a lot of long shots away, and you see open out. So if you go back to that, have it so it's lower down, so you've got, so everything looks taller and looks bigger, and the character just looks minute in this expansive world. Inspirations. There was a lot of inspirations for this because as I started digging more, I started watching more stuff to see if I could grasp an idea of this world. And a lot of this in my head, a lot of this went, what if this happened? A lot of the questions were what ifs, and I kept developing on that and see, you know, what happens to the politics when there's no other parties? What happens to people when there's no human rights? What happens to anything? So what if was the big question of a lot of things, and a lot of these films did revolve around that. So you have a look at films like Metropolis and Dark City. Those two very similar, very dark, somber tones. They use very neo-noir elements in them. Then you get V for Vendetta, The City of Lost Children. You know, you get Brazil, which does. I mean, all these films are very similar. They're all alternates. They're all alternate histories. You know. So these I had to look at and watch them. I kind of got a grip of the tone and the visual representation of what things look like and how you put that on screen through writing. As I said, favourite of mine would be neo-noir because I think when it's used, I think it's great, and I don't think it's used enough. I mean, it's also the fact that neo-noir, the way it's used, it can be used in so many different ways. I know thrillers and dramas or whatever they can be, but with neo-noir, you can go from Sin City to Unusual Suspects. They're both neo-noirs, but they look completely different. They're not the same at all. But to me, that's how it looks. How you can just change it massively, but it's still that element. There's always some elements in it won't look the same. Duration. Now, because this world is big, and because it's quite heavy, you're having a look at between 10 and 15 minutes of screen time. I mean, because the story's got pace itself, because the pace is boom, then it's slow, and then it's boom, boom, and then it's slow again. And then there's the final reveal. Now, in this, you've got to think about how long am I going to drag this out? How long am I going to tell people what's happened? So I thought, well, how about have it so for the sake of screen time, let's think. We need to. I need to draw it out and make sure there's not too much stuff going on, telling people this, and this has happened. Let people imagine in their own way how it's worked. I think it'd make it more fun for the viewer. They're like, oh well, what happened to the Allies, or what did all these big political figures, are they still around? What happened to them? Instead of having to explain everything because you haven't got the time to do it, let people imagine. Feed them little parts of information which goes, oh well, look what happened. Like I mentioned something in the script where it's, look, a politician says, oh well, what's happened to California? That's been nuked, or New York's now underwater. It leaves, you feed the viewer information on what they're doing, what's happened, little tiny bits, and the minds will just go, right, wow, that'd be cool if that happened, or that'd be awful if that happened. So yeah, I mean, I've carefully thought about it, and just don't. I thought at first it was quite long. It was like 20 pages long. I was like, right, this is too much. I can't feed them all this. So let's just, excuse me, slow it down and just give them bits at a time. And I think that would work better. I mean, it has worked better. I've shown people and demonstrated and said, oh, I can imagine that. The major challenges for this were politics. It took a lot of work to think of the politics in this, and the dialogue, with it being an alternate world, you can kind of take away from things, but you can also ruin things with it, because the dialogue, the problem is, it's heavy, it needs to be in this. It can't be light. I mean, it can be with the other characters, but politics-wise, there's one politician talking throughout each scene, and it's hard to fit it all in, again, matching with screen time and how much you can put in. You don't want to overcomplicate it, and if you overcomplicate it, then people are like, this is too much for me, I can't handle this, and etc. So the politics for me was the hardest. So I had a look at 1984, I watched 1984, see how they drawn out the politics, very in your face, Big Brother. I had a look at politics in Watchmen. Their politics was very similar to the Cold War elements, but introducing things that haven't happened changed that, so I tried to base that on this. So instead of having a conversation, just have the political speaker just talking, or just saying things that people go along with it, because I thought, well, there's not really any of the parties, there's just this one party. Just have it so they are told things, just have them so they have to agree, there's no choice. I mean, there's no human rights, you can't go against it. People still are, but most people, like a normal government in present day, again, a reflection of that, they would just go along with it, not going to back an eyelid. There are some people with doubts, but not many people listen to them. And it's reflected throughout all storytelling that way. Thank you for watching. Any questions?
Yeah, what sort of budget are you thinking for this? Because like you talked about like maybe having like that helicopter style shot where you see like the whole expanse city and the warped world of tomorrow. Like, so what sort of budget are you thinking, and what sort of like VFX are you thinking?
Well, see, I think a lot of this could be done practically. I don't think, because again, there's parts of Manchester that don't look much like you see a city or people think of it if you do it in certain parts. I've had a look at bits and like, well, if we got permission and stuff like that, sat on a rooftop, you just have the shot going across like that, and you've got this another part of Manchester. Most people won't recognise the city from the rooftops, will they? They see it from the ground up. So if you did it from the top down, people are going to go, wow, this is a different city. So budget-wise, I can't imagine this. I mean, I don't have an exact number, but since it's all practical and a lot of it's about camera trickery and whatever, you could. I don't know, but I can't imagine the budget being high. I mean, obviously, if you get into, because there are guns and stuff like that featured, but there are techniques where you don't have to actually use live ones. You can use editing programs, and they look pretty damn good. And I've done it before in like previous projects. So budget-wise, it's not as much as you think. So, any other questions? people won't recognise the city from the rooftops, will they? They see it from the ground up. So if you did it from the top down, people will go, wow, this is a different city. So budget